Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the WaffleBalling podcast. Today, we're going to be recapping the Champions League quarterfinals. We had one of the best, I think, Champions League match weeks in a long time, and we're setting up for a really interesting semifinal. So we'll get into our predictions for that as well. But Varun, how are you feeling after these games?
Not very good, to be honest. I mean, Real Madrid got fucking blown out in this, man. We lost 5-1 on aggregate. I mean, you'll hear more of my thoughts on that later,
Yeah,
but okay, hold up though. This final four is actually looking pretty good. Like from a neutral standpoint,
yeah.
I mean, since we're both technically neutrals now, our teams are out. I mean, this is a very entertaining final four. So
Mhm.
we'll get to that later, but let's start off with the top geezer of the week, Fletcher. What do you think? Who do you think is the top geezer of the week?
Shut up, you soppy wanker!
I'm giving it to Arsenal Fan TV. I feel like this was their big finally, this was like their coronation ceremony for all the overhyping, all of the glazing they've done on Arsenal over the past like decade that they've been going. This was probably their biggest. I mean, this is the biggest moment I think for Arsenal since they were invincible back in
Yeah,
'04.
for sure.
I mean, this was an insane result, and we'll get into that just in a few seconds here. But yeah, giving it to Arsenal Fan TV. They overhyped that match. They were talking so much shit, and they were getting clowned on. But for once, it actually came true. They actually manifested it. So shout out to them, top user of the week.
Uh, yeah, I mean they do deserve the top geezer of the week spot. But let's move on to the wanker of the week, man. I mean, this one was low key crazy. Brought back some memories. Bayern's Josip Stanisic, he pushed the Inter Milan ball boy to the ground. It was like a little scenario. It was like a little kind of like a scuffle that happened because the Inter manager ended up giving the ball boy the ball when it went out of the touch, and the ball boy started hogging the ball, and Stanisic just came in and started pushing him. He pushed him out of his chair, and then the entire like Inter bench came over and they started like brawling with him. And Stanisic actually ended up getting out of that with no card, which was actually the craziest
Yeah,
thing. Because apparently one of the Inter Milan staff ended up with a booking, but Stanisic made it out completely fine. So I mean, that is a wanker of the week. It really reminds me of that Eden Hazard versus the ball boy a couple of years, like a while ago. It's like half a decade ago, man. More than a
hmm
decade ago, maybe. What was that
yeah.
2016? No, yeah, about 2016. So about a decade ago. But yeah, it really reminded me of that. I mean, this was just hilarious to watch in that Inter game. I mean, that game was also pretty good too. So, what are your thoughts on that?
I thought it was hilarious. I remember watching it live. It'd be like, I can't believe what I just saw. Like, and to be fair, I mean the ball boy, like it was a little unsportsmanlike from the ball boy, but I mean it was also a bit much. I feel like
I mean,
you don't really need to push him there, but
the game's
I don't know. It
back.
was pretty entertaining. Yeah,
The
that
game's
was one of the
back.
highlights of the match for me. All
Yeah.
right, so let's just get right into these matchups here.
Let's go!
Let's talk about the big one first. Arsenal versus Real Madrid. Arsenal thrashed Real Madrid 5-1 over two legs. Insane result. I don't think anyone saw this coming. Varun, as the Real Madrid fan, how you feeling after this?
I mean, you heard my thoughts at the start of this. I mean, not good, but I mean, let's talk about this game here. Let's do an analysis of this. I mean, the La Remontada did not happen, man. I talked a lot of shit going into this, but I mean, I'm in like a negative like aura deficit right now, man. I'm in a severe
Yeah.
aura deficit right now, so I don't think I'll ever recover from this. But I mean, let's go into the first leg here. Two stunning free kicks from Declan Rice in a game that Arsenal actually ended up with a masterclass. They tactically outsmarted Real Madrid completely. Like Real Madrid was just completely out of their depth and at the
hmm
Emirates. Mikel Merino had that goal to seal off that night for Real Madrid. And then Camavinga ended up with a second yellow and he got sent off. Which, I mean,
hmm
that red didn't really matter because it came in like the 93rd minute. And it wouldn't have affected Camavinga because he had his first yellow would have suspended him for the second leg anyways because he had that yellow card accumulation. So that didn't really do much. It just kind of like sealed off a really bad night for Madrid. And then going into that
Mm.
second leg, it was really hyped that Real Madrid is the comeback kings. Like they've done it before, time and time again. They are the team of the Champions League. But let's go into the second leg. It started off crazy as Saka. What did you think of that Saka missed penalty? I mean, I feel like we have to talk about it. It was a really
Yeah,
bad penalty. Like attempting to put
yeah,
Echo.
yeah. I mean, first off, crazy save from Courtois. I mean, getting his hand up there. One of the most like aesthetically pleasing penalty saves I think I've ever seen. That
Hmm.
was pretty cool, actually.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Saka. I why you tried that in a Champions League quarterfinal game, bro? Just like pick a normal penalty, dude. Like I don't know. But it ended up not mattering in the end, and Saka did get his goal in this game,
He did.
which we could talk about in a second here. But I actually thought Arsenal. I thought in the first leg, going back to that, I actually thought it was pretty evenly matched for the most part up
Yeah.
until the very end. I mean,
Hmm.
really the breakthrough was from the two back-to-back free kicks from Declan Rice. Otherwise, it was a pretty even match, and then the Mourinho goal at the end. But I actually thought Madrid played okay in the first leg. I thought the game was closer than that 3-0 scoreline
Yeah.
indicated. But when it came to the second leg in at Madrid, I was honestly kind of shocked by how poorly Real Madrid played in this game. I mean, the final score was 2-1, but honestly, it shouldn't have been. I thought that scoreline makes it seem closer than it was. I mean, you had the Saka missed penalty, but also Arsenal just completely dominated this game. I felt like for the whole 90 minutes, outside of that one mistake from Saliba that led to
Hmm.
the Vinny Jr. goal, Madrid did absolutely nothing in this game, and that's
Yeah.
just so shocking for me in a game that they needed to win at home. I haven't seen a performance like that from Real Madrid in a long, long time. It's just
No.
so uncharacteristic of them.
I mean, yeah, that Vinny Jr. goal. I mean, uh, Vinicius Jr. ended up being Real Madrid's top scorer in the Champions League. I think he had 7 or 8. But yeah, I
Mm,
mean, Vinny Jr. is still class. I like his pressing. It's just sometimes, man, I think that Vinny and Mbappe, man, the issue with them is that they don't tend to drop back, or they don't really help with defending. So it ends up becoming an issue because they don't track back at all. And I mean that Gabriel Martinelli goal to seal it off in like the 93rd minute. I mean, it was just a bad night. Um,
mm.
but I really did feel like Vinny and Bellingham and Courtois, of course, were like the only good players on Madrid. I feel like Mbappe had a stinker. Rodrigo was okay. It just kind of felt like the rest of the team just was not there. Chouameni was good. I have to give Chouameni um his kudos here. I mean, Chouameni was good, but okay, the biggest news coming out after this game is Carlo Ancelotti is most likely going to be gone. I mean, what are your thoughts about this? Do you think he should go, or do you think Real Madrid should keep him for the one more year that's left in his contract?
I think it's a little uh, premature for him to leave or to Madrid. Because I mean, yeah, obviously it's not a great season for Madrid standards. Not even making the final four of the Champions League, and then probably not winning La Liga. We'll see if they win the any of the um, La Liga or the Copa
Yeah,
del Rey or any of that. But I don't know. I think Carlo Ancelotti's done such a fantastic job with Madrid. That keeping him on for one more season. Like, I don't understand why they won't just keep him for that 1 year. I guess they're really trying to get. Well, the rumors were that they were trying to get Klopp, but he's turned that down now.
yeah,
So it looks like they're going for Xabi Alonso, which
it's
we'll
okay.
see. I mean,
Yeah,
that'll probably happen, but I don't think that's as hyped of a hire as it seemed like it was going to be last year, as he's kind of come back down to earth with Leverkusen this year. But
indeed.
I don't know. I think it's very interesting from Real Madrid to let Ancelotti leave. One of the all-time managers.
For sure.
That guys like him don't come around all that often. So when you have a guy like him at your disposal and you just let him leave or even probably force him out is more realistic to what's happening. But yeah, I think it's just really bad management by Madrid there.
See, I mean, I can see why Madrid wants to get him out, and if they do get him out, I'd agree because the one thing I don't agree with here is apparently Real Madrid wants to get rid of Carlo Ancelotti after the Copa del Rey, which is in about a week. So
Yeah.
I think that they should let Carlo Ancelotti finish the season out. Respect
Yeah.
this legend, man. He's had 2 stints as Real Madrid's manager. Respect him, man. Let him finish out the season. And then, I mean, the Brazil national team has been inquiring about him. It's a very high chance that he actually ends up going to Brazil. So that is cool, I guess. But I kind of feel like it's no secret that I feel like Real Madrid has just been in a tactical disaster class this entire season. I mean, we don't really know how to use Mbappe at this point. We have 3 left wingers. It's kind of feel like
Mhm.
we're just it's all vibes, no tactics here. I mean, I feel like this year especially, it's basically come down like most of like Real Madrid's biggest games this season have come down to individual brilliance by one player. Like if you remember that Dortmund game when we were down 2-0 and then ended up 5-2, it was all Vinicius Jr. Vinicius Jr. had the hat trick. I mean, there's been multiple other games like the Mbappe hat trick versus Valladolid, Mbappe versus Man City. I mean, you're kind of relying on individual performances to get results here, and it's not more about the tactics. And this Arsenal game really showed how bad Madrid is on tactics wise. I mean, they got completely outclassed by Arteta here, so it might be time for a breath of fresh air, get Xabi Alonso in. I mean, I would have really
Mhm.
preferred Klopp, but I mean, since he's not available anymore, from what it seems, Xabi Alonso might just be what we need. I mean, I don't really think that Carlo Ancelotti can give us too much more going forward. But I mean, respect the legend. Let him finish out his season, man. That's all I have to say. But yeah, I mean, also, I mean, Real Madrid. What do you think about like their injury situations here? I mean, Carvajal being out, Mendy being out, Militao being out. I mean, Lunin was out. All these injuries, What do you think? Like, since Madrid they like basically never signed anyone. They haven't signed a player. I don't even remember. Like, it's been what since Chouameni maybe that we bought a player. Yeah, I mean, we got Mbappe on a free transfer. Like,
Mbappe,
yeah, we got Mbappe on a free transfer. Like, what do you think? Like, do you think Madrid should actually be going out and like trying to spend money? Like, it's kind of seems like they're just waiting on players to kind of come out of free agency, and just pick them up. Like, what do you think about this? It's just bad management.
Um, no, I mean, actually, I think what Perez is doing, obviously, he knows what he's doing, and for him to build that super team in Madrid without really a strong academy and being in La Liga where they don't have like the money that Premier League teams get from like their TV contracts and stuff is really impressive. And I mean, he's done that by going after players on freeze or for cheap. I mean, he's scouted players, got them when they were cheap, playing in Brazil, like Vinny Jr., like Rodrigo, like Endrick, got those
Valverde.
guys at a discount. Yeah,
Yeah,
Valverde, and then obviously Mbappe on a free is an insane value, and that he's probably going to do the same this summer with Trent getting him on a free. So obviously Perez knows what he's doing. There's nobody better than him
for sure.
at managing the team. I do think one of the things I do kind of question is that front three, those three wingers of Mbappe, Vinny Jr., and Rodrigo. I'm just gonna say it now. I don't think all three of them can coexist on the same team, and I'm gonna say Rodrigo is not going to be a Madrid player in the long term. I think they could get has insane value. I mean, they could probably get 100 mil. I would think in a transfer for him. And there's a plenty of teams. I know Manchester City is very interested in him. And I think with they have Endrick, they have Arda Güler on the bench who barely get any minutes. I think Perez is going to cash out on Rodrigo.
Interesting. Yeah.
Um, because obviously this experiment with all three of them playing up front just has not been super successful this year. I just don't think Mbappe's striker is not his natural position, so playing him there is just hasn't yielded the best results. And I just feel like Rodrigo out of the three is the odd man out. I mean, obviously you're not going to get rid of Mbappe. You're not going to get rid of Vinny Jr. So I think it would have to be Rodrigo. And I don't think that would necessarily even be the worst move for Madrid because you can get a ton of cash for him. You can use that and reinvest it in areas of need. I mean, the defense is getting really old. Those center backs are getting pretty old. You maybe get a new midfielder in there. Obviously, you're going to get Trent this summer, so that'll shore up that right back position, I guess.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, I don't know if you agree with that or not, but
okay, let me ask you this: if you, since okay, so since Mbappe is not technically a nine, would you play him left wing? Is that like what you're thinking right now?
I would. Yeah, I mean,
Because
he's best at left wing, and I mean,
so
he's probably the. I mean, he's the best left winger in the world, I think,
so where would
in
you
my opinion.
move Vinny Jr. then? Like in your opinion, like what would you think you should do with Vinny? Play him at the striker, or like what are you thinking?
I would. I would say, yeah, I would probably move him to striker, I guess, if you put Mbappe on that left wing.
Interesting.
Um, but I don't know. It's
It's
interesting to see
complicated.
because
Yeah.
it's a big problem right now with Madrid where you got almost too many chefs in the kitchen up front.
See,
So
yeah. I mean, looking back, I mean, Mbappe's been our top scorer. So like Mbappe's been pretty good
mhm.
this year, but he's not been great, you know. He's kind of had those like games that he's just not very good. But I don't know, maybe in hindsight, maybe Madrid should have not gone for the PR stunt, you know, with Mbappe and actually signed like a real number nine, maybe like Jokereich, try to get Holland if he before he re-signed for Man City. But like, I mean, I really would like to see Madrid this summer. From coming from a Madrid fan, I would like to see um sign a center back, sign a left back. Trent would be right back. Possibly a new midfielder. It kind of seems like Madrid is kind of going for like a kind of like a mass like firing right now. They're like getting rid of like all their old players. Like apparently David Alaba, Luka
Yeah,
Modric, Lucas Vasquez. They're all gone in the summer, which I mean it makes sense from I guess the club standpoint. Technically, I guess to get like Arda Güler, Endrick, all these guys game time because I mean they're all ballers on the bench. They don't. That's another thing that's another issue I had with Carlo Ancelotti is his refusal to play these guys. You know, I mean Arda
mhm.
Güler what played 1,200 minutes this season is insane.
Yeah.
So I genuinely don't understand why we don't use those guys on the bench. They just kind of sit there and they just kind of rot. You know, they're not developing. They're not really doing much there. So I mean, I I feel like Real Madrid this summer is going to go through a massive overhaul. That's all I'm saying, and I'll probably just end it off right there. Do you want to talk about Arsenal though here?
I
Uh,
do actually
yeah,
because this was just an insane performance. I mean, this we had that Man City game against Real Madrid a couple years ago where they won 4-0 in the semifinal. That was a crazy performance, but I just did not expect a team to dominate Real Madrid like this. I mean, it's just something so rare and like you just don't ever expect it. And I mean, coming from Arsenal too, a team that we're kind of struggling in the Prem. Obviously, they're in second, but they're kind of coasting a little bit. They're not going to win it. So for them to come out and put up such a dominant performance in the Champions League was honestly very surprising. I actually thought they had a pretty decent shot at winning this matchup before the first leg, just because
yeah,
I thought they matched up really well against Real Madrid with their defense. But I did not expect anything close
yeah,
to what we saw, and I don't know. It really honestly reminds me a little bit of um, the that 2019 Liverpool run where they won the Champions League because that was a young team with Klopp at the helm who they'd risen up really fast but couldn't break through and win like the Prem or any trophies. They'd come really close. They'd finish second in that 2019 season, but it was the Champions League. They had kind of a miracle run,
yeah,
a game against Barcelona in the semifinal where they came back 4-0. And that kind of feels like what's going on with Arsenal. You kind of have to slay the dragon a little bit to get to the top, and that is kind of what it seemed like they just did against Real Madrid.
yeah.
Um, I don't know. We'll get into our predictions later, but I mean, as it stands right now, I mean, Arsenal have a very, very serious shot at winning this whole thing. I would even say they're in a lot of people's eyes the favorites going into this Final Four. So I'm
Interesting.
really impressed with what they did. Declan Rice masterclass. I mean, I've always been a huge Declan Rice fan. I think uh, even when he was at West Ham, I thought he was one of the best players in the Prem. And then moving to Arsenal, I'm glad he's finally getting recognition as being one of the best midfielders in the world because he really
Indeed.
is. And he got the man of the match in both legs of this fixture. And I mean, that second free kick that he scored was genuinely one of the best free kicks, if not the best free kick I think I've ever seen in a game. I mean, that couldn't have been more perfectly placed, and to beat Courtois like that is not easy. I mean, you basically have to be perfect on free kicks to beat a guy like that,
Yeah.
and he did it twice in one game. I mean, that's insane from him. So, big ups to Arsenal, big ups to the
Big ups.
Gooners. We'll get to our predictions later, but I'm very high on Arsenal at the moment.
Alrighty. I mean, let's end it off right there. Let's move on to the next game here. I mean, Inter Milan with that 2-2 versus Bayern. I mean, it was a low-key a thriller. I mean, 4-3 on aggregate, ended up with Inter Milan going through. Inter Milan was
Mhm.
at home in the second leg for that 2-2 draw. And I mean, they were coming off of that what 2-1 victory against Bayern at home. So that was
Yeah.
that was a huge game for Inter. I mean, let's go into this game here. I mean, Harry Kane scored first, then Lautaro Martinez equalizes, Pavard scores, and then Eric Dyer equalizes. I mean, Bayern really they fought hard in this, but I mean, like, what did you think about this? Let's talk about Bayern here. What did you think about Bayern here first?
Well, I was a little disappointed in Bayern. I kind of going into this fixture, I thought they had a slight edge because they had such a great performance in the round of 16 against Leverkusen. Um, and overall, it was kind of disappointing. Even though I actually thought that they were the better team throughout these two legs, I think talent wise and even the way they played, they kind of showed that they were the better team. They just had a few like pretty big kind of lapses, defensive lapses that kind of cost them. I
Yeah,
mean, they conceded off of corners. I mean, anytime that happens is pretty horrific, I feel like, from a defensive standpoint. And I believe they did it twice in the second leg. Just really bad from them. And I mean, they got the goals. I mean, they scored what was the final? It was a
three
4-3
goal.
on
Yeah,
aggregate.
4-3. Yeah,
Yeah, so I mean, it's just really for me, it's just their back four has just not been good enough, I feel like this season. And we've kind of been saying that all year.
yeah.
That is just not very consistent. It's very prone to mistakes, and that's ultimately what cost them in this fixture because I feel like their attack was honestly pretty good over these two legs against considering they're played such a phenomenal, arguably the best defensive team in Europe in
For
Inter
sure.
Milan. So I think it's very disappointing from that back line. I think they need some massive overhauls back there. And I think Vincent Company as well. Um, not maybe it's his first. I mean, that was the biggest game probably of his managerial career, so I cut him a little bit of slack. But some of the adjustments and tactics coming into this, I think, were a little bit questionable. This was definitely a winnable game for Bayern. I think this is one they're going to look back on and be a little frustrated. But I overall, I do think that Inter, while I do think Bayern were the better team, I do think Inter also played well enough to win this game.
Indeed.
They put themselves in a better position. They had the better management, better tactics, and I think it's going to be very interesting for them going forward because it's we don't really see super great defensive, kind of like classic '90s Italian defensive teams like Inter Milan in this modern day. And I think it's really interesting seeing a team like that be so successful in the modern game where it's very, passing oriented, team oriented, a team that just kind of
Indeed. Yeah.
sits back and digs themselves in is very interesting, tactic wise, and I'm glad they've been so successful because I think it's actually really fun to watch, and it's a very big change of pace compared to how most teams play.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, Inter is, I think, the least likely to win the UCL on betting odds wise.
Yeah.
But I really do think that they are a very underrated team in this Final Four. I think that they
Mm,
do. I think that they will give Barcelona a pretty good run for their money in this in the semifinal here. I mean,
mm,
one of my favorite things about this team is that they're one of the only major teams in the world that use a striker partnership. It's very rare to see a striker partnership these days. I mean, having
mm,
Lautaro Martinez and Marcus Thuram playing that, it's actually really good to watch. It's really fun to watch these two guys play. I mean,
mm.
I know Lautaro Martinez has come a long way. I mean, this guy was like a guy that'd be missing sitter after sitter. I mean, like it got to the point that like people are stressing when he took that penalty in the World Cup for Argentina. But I mean, he's come a long way. I mean, he's been very good.
Yeah.
And I mean, Marcus Thuram, very underrated striker now. I mean, this team is really good. I mean, they have what, like Pavard, they have Federico Di Marco, they have Barella. I really like this team for sure. Fratesi,
Mm.
so many good players on this team. They're a really good defensive team, and I really do think that Barcelona might actually have a really tough time playing these guys. So, I mean, Inter Milan, you have to give them their roses here. I mean, very, very, very solid team here. Um,
Yeah.
what's up?
Yeah, I think,
Yeah.
like you said, I think this is such an interesting team, just the personnel that they've built. And I would shout out Alessandro Bastoni,
Mm,
the center back for Inter Milan, because I think he's by far the most underrated player in the world. I would say he's the best center back in the world currently. I mean, even the performance against Bayern Munich was, I felt like, completely dominant at times. Just what he does and the confidence and the poise that he brings to that Inter back line is just unmatched, and I don't think any other player in the world can do what he does, or at least as well as he does. He's one of those guys that is kind of, I think, getting on the radar. He was already on the radar, but I think a lot of bigger clubs
yeah.
are kind of monitoring that situation. And yeah, I could probably see him leaving, probably to like a Real Madrid or maybe like a Manchester City or something in the future. But what he's done during his time at Inter Milan has been so underrated, and he's seriously like world 11 center back in my opinion. He's just been that good for Inter Milan, especially this year.
I agree. I mean, yeah, very underrated guy. I mean, he's making the Italian national team for sure. He played for them in the
Mm,
Euros. He was decent at the Euros. Um, but let's move on here. Let's move on to this Dortmund. Dortmund almost made the comeback here. I mean, Dortmund 3-1 win at the Signal Iduna Park versus Barcelona, but in the end they couldn't get enough past Barcelona to make it through. So Barcelona were up 4-0 in Barcelona
yeah.
in the first leg, but they were very poor in Dortmund. I mean, Guirassi scored a hat trick versus them, and that puts him at 13 in
Mm,
the campaign, which I think is the top scorer in the current UCL format right now. So,
yeah.
I mean, this struggling Dortmund team. I mean, what are they in eighth, ninth place, like seventh place, something around there, seventh or ninth place, something like that. This team
Mm.
was the UCL finalists last year, and I mean, I don't understand. Like, how are you so poor in the Bundesliga, but so at least like pretty decent in the UCL somehow? I don't understand this, but I don't know. This they almost had the comeback. What is it? They had that
Mhm.
own goal, which kind of screwed them over. I mean, if that own goal didn't happen, I kind of feel like Barcelona were actually screwed because all they needed was one more goal to tie it up. What did you think?
Yeah, I think well, just talking about Dortmund quickly. Yeah, it is very it's a very weird phenomenon how they're so poor in the Bundesliga. They have been a little bit better recently,
Mm,
but they were um I think as low as like 10th or 11th at one point. But yeah, it is weird. I mean, even last year when they made the USA final, they finished 5th in the Bundesliga, which is very subpar for their standards.
yeah,
It got their manager fired, who I mean,
yeah.
well, I guess it was like a mutual parting, but we
Uh-huh.
all know what that means. But yeah, I mean, they literally made the UCL final, but because he finished fifth in the Bundesliga, they're like, yeah, that's not good enough. So, I mean, new manager this year, things haven't quite worked out super well. I mean, it's a pretty good finish for them to make it to the quarterfinals. This is actually, I was kind of shocked to find this out, but this was the first time in Dortmund's history they've made back to back UCL quarterfinals, which is
Impressive.
very surprising in my opinion. But yeah, I think with Dortmund it's weird because a lot of I mean, they lost some players like Matt Hummels, Jadon Sancho returned or left
Yeah.
from his loan spell. But
Mhm.
overall, I mean, the team is very similar to that team last year. Um,
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, they have a few really good core players like Nico Schlotterbeck, Garuse.
Adeyemi.
I think, yeah, Adeyemi, who has had his struggles this year, but is overall, I think, a really strong player. Um, but I don't know. It's very
It's
weird
interesting.
from Borussia Dortmund. I mean, I don't know where they go from here. It's a very weird time for
Y-
them. But just getting into Barca, I guess. I think that after that first leg, I mean, it was pretty much exactly what we expected. I mean, the only interesting thing that really happened was Rafinha stealing that goal from Kubasi. I mean, that was
Oh my god.
absolutely insane. But that second leg was horrific. I mean, genuinely terrible performance from Barcelona.
Yeah.
I mean, I think he going into that second leg, I think everyone was kind of pretty assured that Barca was gonna be the favorites to win the UCL. But I don't know, after a terrible performance like that, um, they're lucky that they had such a big lead going into that game and that they were playing Dortmund of all teams, no disrespect. But I mean, if they put up a performance like that against Inter Milan, they're not going through.
No.
I mean, it's as simple as that. And I think that's also one of the things worth noting with even though this Barca team has been so great this year, there have been a handful, maybe not a handful, but there have been a few performances that have just been horrific from them, and this team is prone to implode. I mean, feel like I mean, that's what we saw last year when they crashed out of the Champions League against PSG. It was a complete
Yeah,
implosion.
for sure.
But I think with the way this team plays and that ultra aggressive style and that high back line, they're very prone to getting exposed. And if if that front line is not playing well and not getting pressure, on the opponents, it's a very it's very bad news for Barcelona.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think it's gonna be very interesting when they get to Inter because I think that matchup's gonna be very interesting. But overall, for Barca, they made it through. At the end of the day, they got to the semifinals. That's all that really matters here. But I think just for inspiring confidence, I feel a lot less confident about Barcelona after
Agreed.
this fixture than I did going into it.
I completely agree. I mean, you know what's a crazy thing I saw? I think earlier yesterday, maybe I think it was. There was three different players that have scored hat tricks versus Barcelona, but still ended up losing the game to them, bro. It's actually crazy. It was Guirassy, I think. It was a guy from Benfica, it was Pavlidis, and then it was literally yesterday's game. I think it was the Celta Vigo game. It was
Yeah.
Iago Aspas. I don't know how Celta Vigo bottled that 3-1 lead, but they somehow
Yeah.
lost. But I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, Barcelona's attack has been really prone to conceding, or I mean, defense has been really prone to conceding goals now as of late.
Yeah.
But I mean, that attack is monstrous, man. Rafinha, I mean, this guy's a Ballon d'Or leader right now. I think he's a favorite to win the Ballon d'Or, and I mean, it makes
Yeah.
sense because I mean, look what he's doing. This guy is really good. He's had 12 goals in the UCL. He is kind of closing in on that Ronaldo record of 17. I don't know. I don't know if we'll hit it, but I mean, 12
Probably
goals.
not.
12 goals is pretty good at least. Lewandowski's been in decent form. I mean, he's kind of fallen off. I think he is injured now. Yamal's been pretty good, of course. But I mean, yeah, Pedri's always been good. I mean, Pedri's like, if there was one player I'd want on Real Madrid from Barcelona, it would be Pedri. He's probably one of the greatest
Yeah.
midfielders in the world right now. But
Yeah.
I mean, that defense, man. I don't know. Like you have Kubarsi. Kubarsi's pretty good. I like Kunde as well, but I don't think I really like him as a fullback. I think he's more of a center back in my opinion. But I mean, that defense has been giving them kind of a lot of problems here. But I mean, Barcelona are still on a trouble watch here. Copa del Rey, La
Yeah.
Liga, and UCL. So I mean, this Barcelona team has everything to go fight for, right here. So
Mhm.
we'll have to see. I mean, these guys are what, the second favorites to win the UCL now, or they might actually be the favorites still to win
I think they're the
UCL.
favorites
Yeah,
still.
so I mean, kudos to Barcelona. I mean, I respect the hell out of these guys. They've beat our asses multiple times this year. So okay, but do you want to move on to in my opinion, the most entertaining game, Aston Villa PSG? What did you think of this game?
Um, this game was pretty insane. I really did think Villa was going to make the comeback in that second leg. They very nearly did. But this was a really fun watch. I think it was two teams that play a very interesting game, very possession and attack focused, very kind of individualistic play between these two teams, which is nice to see in an increasingly robotic league or an increasing robotic game. It was nice to see two teams that kind of didn't embrace that fully and had that individual flair that I think everyone loves. But yeah, ultimately PSG were able to survive in this one, able to advance over Aston Villa. I do think it was a little concerning the way that they let Villa back into this fixture
Mm.
because they had a really great dominate. I felt like pretty dominant performance in that first leg, and then they kind of let it all go to waste in that second leg. But they survived. I mean, they got through. And I think PSG is in a very interesting spot too, as well, because obviously no one expected this from them after Mbappe leaves in the off season, and now they made it further than he did, and they again very serious shot at winning their first ever UCL here. So I don't know. What did you think of this game?
This PSG team is probably who I think will win it all this year. I mean, I really love this team. It's actually
Hmm.
like watching PSG is genuinely like super entertaining. I think they've already won the Liga One. I mean, it kind of goes to show how
Yeah,
bad
I
Liga
think
One
they're
is. But
invincible.
yeah, they're currently invincible. So the PSG also is on a treble watch, I think, because they have
Yeah,
I don't know what the French Cup is called. I'm blanking on it.
the
It's like the something, I don't know.
uh, who
Yeah,
cares?
yeah, it's some Farmers League Cup. But anyways,
The
they're on
McDonald's Cup.
they're on the Liga One, UCL, and the French Domestic Cup. So I mean, in my personal opinion, I think PSG is the best team in the world right now. Like, I don't know what you think about this, but I currently think that they are the best team in the world. I mean, you have two superb fullbacks in Hakimi and Mendes, Nuno Mensch. I mean, dude, Hakimi has 20 goals and assists as a right back this year, which is insane. And then, I mean, that attack is just on another planet. Cavara, Desiree Dua, Dembele, Barcola, Lee Kang-in, Gonzalo Ramos. I mean, their bench is better than a lot of teams like starters. I
Hmm.
mean, to have Bradley
Hmm.
Barcola coming off the bench is crazy. And I mean, one person that like in my highlight, like somebody that I need to highlight is Desiree Dua. I've never seen a player base their game so much on like another person than Dua has based off of Neymar. He's like a clone of Neymar. Like every time I see him play, it's literally like watching PSG Neymar from like 17, 18. Like
Hmm.
it's literally like a clone of Neymar. I mean, I feel like he like is one of the best players in the world right now, and he's what, only
Oh yeah.
19, 18, 19. So I mean, this kid is gonna have himself a career, in my opinion. I mean, did you? I don't know if you saw that first goal in the first leg from Dua. It was like, I think it was like to go up 2-0 or something. It was that goal where he kind of got like smacked and he went like flying, but he somehow still made it top bins. It went like bar down. I don't know.
Mm.
That goal was insane. But I mean, this PSG team, I really do think can win it all. But Aston Villa
Yeah.
had, yeah, go on actually.
No, I mean, I agree with everything you're saying, and I think I don't know if I'd necessarily say they're the best team in Europe, But I will say they're probably the most balanced team, at least their starting 11 and their coaching. I mean, this team doesn't really have a weakness. Um, and I don't think you can necessarily say that about any of the other teams.
Yeah,
Maybe Inter Milan is also very solid, starting 11 wise. But Arsenal is very inconsistent up front. Barcelona is very aggressive with their back line and they're prone to mistakes. So I don't know. I think that PSG could really uh, make a splash here, and I really do. I don't know if I'd necessarily say they're my pick to win it all, but I could definitely see a world where they end up taking it home. It's very realistic at this point.
I agree. And I mean, going to Aston Villa, I mean, this is such a W season from Aston Villa, to be honest. I mean, there was a lot of
Hmm.
questions going into the season if Aston Villa could handle the workload of the Premier League and I mean the Champions League and all that. And I mean, they're managing pretty well in both. I mean, they literally just came out and blew out Newcastle in the Premier League. Like I don't know, like
Yeah.
it was like 5-1 or something. It was like 4-1. It was a crazy scoreline.
Hmm.
But I mean, to put this performance up against PSG, which has been a very good team. I mean, they knocked out Liverpool. I don't know who else they knocked out. Brest. I mean, PSG is really
Yeah.
good, and Aston Villa coming out and dropping this performance. I mean, Unai Emery, bro. I mean, kudos up to you, bro. Like you're managing this team pretty well. So, I mean, I feel like
Yeah.
this is a W season from Aston Villa, regardless of how this ended out for them.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, this was probably the season in a long time. I guess maybe last year, if you wanted to say that was more successful,
Hmm.
finishing fourth and getting that Champions League spot. But right now, I mean, they really just need to focus on the league. Result against Newcastle was huge because it's put them in a really
Yeah,
good position to contend for the top five
yeah,
and make it back to the UCL next year. But yeah, I think Villa is not too upset with how this went. I mean, they very nearly took out PSG, and making it to the quarterfinals is huge for them and that fan base. So kudos to them. But
yeah.
yeah, I think I don't know if you have anything else to say about this, or
Yeah.
you want to get into our
Prediction time.
predictions here.
Prediction time. It is.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go into our previous predictions. Let's see here. So you had you had Real Madrid going through, PSG going through, Barcelona and Bayern going through. So that ended up
Yep.
being only PSG and Barcelona going through. So that was 2 points from you. We finally got some more points on the board here. It's low-key getting close.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. And then I had Real Madrid, did not hit. PSG hit, Barcelona hit, and then I had Inter Milan, and that hit. So I had 3 points going into that quarterfinals. Fletcher, you had two. Current standings right now, I'm at 9 points, at top of the table, and Fletcher, you're at 6 points right now. So I mean, it is still close as hell. So I mean, we're gonna be doing a predictions on the semifinals of the UCL. Do you want to go first, Fletcher? Let's talk about the Inter Milan and Barcelona game here. What do you think?
I think it's very interesting because, like I said, obviously Inter Milan. It's no secret that their back four and their defensive structure is just amazing. Probably, it's either between them and Arsenal. And I'll say this too, just about both matchups in general. I think it's super interesting where we have arguably the two best attacking teams in Barca and PSG going up against the two best defensive teams in Arsenal and Inter Milan. I think it's a very, yin versus yang matchups for both of these.
Completely agree.
Unstoppable force versus a immovable object, if you will. But yeah, I think this is the one that I feel um, very conflicted on, to be completely honest. I feel this one I've been going back and forth a ton. Barcelona was kind of my pick to win the whole thing. I think, um, like when we did the round of 16, like I felt like that was probably similar to most people. Most people had either them or Liverpool.
Hmm.
And while Barca, obviously they made it to the semifinals here, I don't necessarily feel as confident in them as I once did. They have shown a lot of flaws recently. They've kind of skidded by a lot. I mean, even their La Liga game today, they had to come back to win that one against a much inferior opponent. So I don't know. I just don't know if Barca. is the most reliable team in the world. I think when they're playing their game, there's no one better than them. But the question is which Barca team is going to show up? Because if they put on performances like they did in that second leg against Dortmund, or like they did today in La Liga, or they've been doing recently in La Liga, they're not going to win this matchup straight up.
Mhm.
And I do think Inter Milan is a very much consistent team. I mean, they've been incredibly consistent and rock steady in Serie A and in the Champions League this year. Yes, Bayern posed a very serious threat. I mean, I even feel like Bayern outplayed them, like I said at the start of this, but they were able to get through that and get the result, and that's really all that matters at the end of the day. So honestly, I don't know. I had Barca initially, but I think at this very moment I'm kind of leaning Inter. I
Indeed.
don't know. I want to hear what you want to say. Maybe you'll change my mind.
I was going Inter Milan like from the start. I really do like this
Mm.
Inter Milan team. But the one thing, I don't want to see an Inter Milan Arsenal final. I mean, that's the terrorist ball. Just park the bus final, man. So, I mean, let's see. The first leg of this matchup is in Barcelona. Second leg is at the San Siro in Italy. So,
Mm.
I mean, I feel like that will actually come in and play a pretty big part into this game. I mean, you saw how Barcelona performed at the Signal Iduna Park. I mean, it
Mm.
was bad from Barcelona. I kind of feel like the San Siro is another electric stadium. And
Yeah.
I mean, the atmosphere at the San Siro is crazy. So, I mean, I think that'll definitely play a part. So, if Inter Milan, I feel like if they go up a goal, like go one goal up in Barcelona, or even play for a draw and just park the bus, like just do classic Inter Milan defense. I really do think that they have a really good shot at winning it at the San Siro. I really do think that the San Siro will be where the game is decided, and I do think that Inter Milan will be coming out on top from that. I really do love that front two. Lautaro Martinez, Marcus Thuram. But the one thing though, I think Thuram might be injured, so it's
Mm.
unclear if he's gonna be able to make it. I mean, what is it, 3 weeks from now when the game is? So hopefully he's back for that. But if Thuram doesn't make it, then it might be an issue. But if Lautaro Martinez and Thuram are both playing, I'd say Inter Milan, in my opinion.
Interesting. So you're going Inter?
I would go Inter.
All right. Well, I'm going Barca then.
Um,
I'm going back to my original. I was leaning Inter, but I don't know. I feel. I mean, this one for me is literally a coin flip.
it,
I
it
feel
it
like this
completely
one for
is.
me is 50-50. I do have a stronger opinion about the other fixture.
I do too.
Um, but
I do too.
do you want to just talk about that one then, real quick?
Um, let's just go out and say it. Wait, who do you think? Just straight up, who do you think is
I,
gonna
I
win?
I'll go Barca. I'll stick with my
Oh, no, no, no,
original
no.
prediction from the very
Yeah,
start.
I'm up for the
Are
second
you?
one.
Oh,
The
you mean
second
the
one.
other?
Straight up, who do you
Oh,
think?
okay.
Before we talk about it, who do you think is gonna win that one?
I'm going Arsenal.
I'm going PSG. So yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
gonna be a coin flip between both these games. So I mean,
Mhm.
here, first leg is at the Emirates, second leg is at the Parc des Princes. So what are you thinking at this? What are you thinking
Mhm.
about this matchup?
Well, I mean, the first leg at the Emirates is going to be very interesting. Obviously, similar to the fixture against Madrid, where they got that first leg. Because if Arsenal are able to win that first leg and take a lead into the Parc de France, I think it's barbecue chicken wraps on this shit. Because I think this Arsenal, I almost said Barcelona, Arsenal backline is phenomenal. I would probably say, again, you could argue between them and Inter, but they're at worst the second best defensive team in Europe. And I just don't think that, even with how great PSG is and how high flying their attack is, I mean, we saw them against Liverpool in the round of 16. I mean, Liverpool took them to penalties, and Liverpool were able to. They only scored one goal over the two legs, and it was kind of a Mickey Mouse kind of fluky goal anyway. So I don't know. I think Arsenal are a much better defensive team. I think they'll hold up better than Liverpool did. And obviously, the big question with them is their attack. I mean, their attack outside of Saka is incredibly inconsistent. I mean, Mourinho at striker is kind of a joke, even though he did score against Madrid. It's by far, I think, the biggest weakness that any of these four teams have. But that being said, if they can get goals, either from Saka or from set pieces, um, I don't know. I feel like if they can get a lead in this fixture, I don't see them giving it up.
S-
Um, and I think they are going to be able to do that with the first leg at the Emirates. I say they win maybe 1-0 or not 1-0, maybe like 2-1 in the first leg, and then I think they're able to hold off in the second leg and make it to the final.
See, the one thing I have to say about the Arsenal attack, since they have Saka, everything kind of goes through Saka. I mean, they have Nuno Mensch though. PSG has Nuno Mensch. I mean, this guy literally shut
Yeah,
down Mohamed Salah in both legs. I mean, it's actually crazy
yeah,
how good this guy is. I mean, who else did he shut? He shut down somebody else pretty big recently. Uh, who was it on Aston Villa? Was it Marco Asensio? It was somebody. He completely shut down whoever his matchup was, whoever his man was.
Hmm.
It might have been either Rashford or somebody. I'm not sure,
I don't
but
no. Rashford played really well.
it was probably Marco Asensio
It was
then.
probably Asensio, yeah.
But like Nuno Mensch has been on another level. I mean, like he's come out like we knew he was good, but like he has been like on another level this year. He's probably been one of the best left backs in the world this year. He stopped literally
Mhm.
everybody. I mean, even going back to the group stage, he was pretty good. But I mean, I think that this PSG attack is might I don't know. I feel like Arsenal's attack is not going to be that great against this PSG defense. I mean, this defense is really solid to be honest. Hakimi and what's his name? I just talked about him. Mensch, Nuno Mensch have been really good, and then that center back pairing with I think it's Beraldo and Marquinhos. Beraldo and Marquinhos is a pretty solid center back pairing. So I mean, that they're not really gonna let up many goals to be honest. But I really do think this game's gonna come down to the midfield. It will definitely come down to that midfield.
Yeah.
Whoever wins the midfield battles will definitely win this game, and I think the PSG has the better midfield combination. I mean, Declan Rice and Odegaard are pretty good. But, I mean, Vitinha, Joao Neves, I mean, I don't know who the third is. Oh, Fabian Ruiz. Fabian Ruiz has been having a pretty underrated season as well. So, I think, I mean, that PSG attack, I mean, we just talked about it. So, I don't think there's too much more to talk about there. But I have PSG winning this. Second, I feel like in this game also, the second leg being at home for PSG is huge. That's where the game will be won.
Yeah, and I mean, Arsenal do have injuries in their midfield. I mean, Partey is suspended.
Oh,
It's going to be a pretty big blow to them. So we could even see like Mourinho being shifted into the midfield. They're kind of that desperate right now. So that is definitely something to watch out for Arsenal. But again, it's really just going to come down to if Arsenal's attack is going to be able to produce or not. And they were able to do it. I mean, Real Madrid in those fixtures, the first two goals came from set pieces, kind of free kicks from Rice, which as cool as those were, you can't really rely on that consistently. So it is definitely a problem for Arsenal. But I just think that for me, after seeing that Villa game, seeing how Villa played them so close and so tough, and how Liverpool played them so tough. I mean, that game went to penalties. So I don't know. I really do think that just after seeing what Arsenal did to Real Madrid, I mean, I don't know. I think you could argue that PSG is better than Madrid, but I don't think so. I mean, I think what Arsenal did to Real Madrid was so impressive that I just feel that if they replicate that performance, which is a big if, I just don't think PSG can beat them,
yeah.
regardless of how good PSG plays.
See, a part of me is kind of happy that Real Madrid got knocked out because I feel like we would have gotten embarrassed by PSG if I'm being
Really?
really completely honest, man. That defense, our defense would not have held up against this PSG attack.
Yeah.
But I mean, Arsenal. It's no secret. Arsenal tactically masterclass, completely out coached Carlo Ancelotti here in that Real Madrid
Yeah.
game. So I feel like this is a really good matchup. I mean, having Luis Enrique going
Yeah.
up against Mikel Arteta. I mean, this is gonna be a coach. It's gonna be a coaching battle
Cinema,
for the
bro.
ages, man. I mean, if this was the final, I would not have been mad. If this was the final, but low key, I'm manifesting a Barcelona PSG final. As much as I hate Barcelona, I feel like
That would be fun to
it would be
watch.
an interesting game to watch. But I mean, since I have Inter going through, I think I have an Inter PSG final this year. That's why I have just seal it off. Inter final, Inter
Got
PSG final.
very interesting. Well, I got the Arsenal versus Barca, the opposite. And I do believe that those are still the two. I don't know if who's favored in the PSG Arsenal matchup. It's probably almost 50-50, I would imagine. But I think a Barca Arsenal final, obviously rematch from way back when, what, like 2006, I think, would be super interesting. And I think it's also very interesting too with the Arsenal PSG matchup, where you have two teams that have never won it before, which means you're gonna have a team that's never won the UCL in the final. I think that's always cool to say. I always root for teams that have never won it before. Even though it is kind of PSG, who's maybe unethical money, kind of unethical sourcing a little bit, but it's also Arsenal, who's kind of if Arsenal wins the UCL, we're gonna lose one of the best jokes in football. So
Uh,
I don't know. I think honestly, this is such a great Final Four. I think it's so close. I think any team could win it at this point. Like it's really is
yeah,
almost 25% chance for all four of these teams, in my opinion.
I completely
And I
agree.
also just think that whoever wins, like, there's no team that I'm going to be rooting against here.
Oh yeah.
Um, I think there's no bad possibility.
So I was just looking at the odds here. So Barcelona is favored to qualify for the final, and PSG is favored to qualify for the final. So
Okay.
basically, Arsenal and Inter Milan are both underdogs going into this. And I mean, going back to what you said about Arsenal, about like the bottlers, how like, uh, I really would like to keep that joke running, but I mean, this Arsenal team is genuinely really good. And I mean,
Mm,
PSG on the other hand, also, a team that I would be shitting on regardless. But like, I mean, I never thought I'd say this, but PSG might be saving football. I mean, just the way
they
that they
are.
play,
They
just the
are.
way they play, it's not like a Man City type of robotic ass winger. But
Hmm.
it's actually really nice to see that like actual like they're building actual footballers. Not like what happened to Jack Grealish when he went to Man City. I mean, just completely ruining players, but. I mean,
Hmm.
what you have? You have Arsenal and Barcelona final. I have the Inter Milan
Yep.
Paris final. So I mean, absolute cinema either way, whatever happens. I'm excited to see these games. I'm super excited.
Yeah, same. I mean, this is even though, yeah, it sucks that Liverpool's not in there, and I'm sure you feel the same way about Madrid. But this is honestly such an exciting Final Four. Like, I can't remember the last time, besides when Liverpool was there, obviously, that I was as excited to watch, and kind of intrigued to see what happens because with how predictable I think the game is becoming. This is such a breath of fresh air to have four teams that I feel like all have a pretty much equal shot at winning. Like I really don't think any team is like seriously better or significantly better
Yeah,
or should be significantly favored over the others, and that's so nice to see.
I completely agree. But anyways, I mean, I think we ended off right there. So I mean, thank you so much for watching, and I mean, we'll see you guys after the semifinals. I guess so.
Mhm.
Alrighty.